So a lot of people do videos around making money, multiplying money through investment, and I'm the same. I spend a lot of time on this channel talking about property, investment, and monetizing in general. And if you are interested in that, this is definitely the channel for it, so hit subscribe. But what a lot of people seem to forget is that actually there's 3 M's of having money in your life, and that is make, manage, and multiply. So most people focus on the making of the money and the multiplying of the money, but not many people talk about this managing the money process. And that's kind of what I want to talk through today. So over the last decade or close to a decade, I've been investing in property, building up businesses, and that's been great. I've made a load of money through that. But actually, if I didn't understand how to save, how to manage my money properly, then I wouldn't be able to accumulate this wealth. So by the end of this video, I'm going to be able to show you how you can implement this simple step-by-step system in your life so you can start managing your money more effectively and creating financial freedom and opulence for you and your family. Cool. So how we're going to do this is I'm going to take you down to my iPad now, and I'm going to show you exactly what it is, how I break this down, and who I follow through this. So before starting, there's something called a jar system or a pot system, and this was originally by T Har Eker, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. And this is all about breaking down how you're going to be potting your money or jars for your money moving forward. Okay, so we're starting with main. Okay, now main is everything from your mortgage, your car, your rent, anything that you do on a daily basis or a day-to-day basis, maybe not daily. So for example, if you go to a ridiculous spa gym every now and then, that is not going to be part of your main. However, if you're joined up to a gym that you go to 3 or 4 times a week, that will be in your main account. If you've got a phone contract that's costing you 30 quid a month, that's going to go in your main. And in general, what I personally think you should be targeting in your main is for 55%. Okay, some people say 50, and as you build up, this will drop. So let's make the assumption that you earn, just to make the numbers easy, £10,000 every month. I know this is not realistic for most people watching, but let's say that is the case. You're earning £10,000 a month. So that means in your main account, it should be 5,500. Now, this is good for both types of people. So I've got a business partner, Dan. He's very good at spending money. I am not very good at spending money, and both are bad, okay? So my background was very blue collar, and my mum was incredibly good with money. She was the sort of mum where it seemed we have no money, and then out of nowhere, we'd have an incredible Christmas, or out of nowhere, we'd have an incredible holiday. And that was because of her saving ability. My problem is, as I've grown up with that scarcity mindset, sometimes I'm too good at saving and I don't spend enough. I don't enjoy the money that I'm making. So what this does by creating this 55% that we're looking at, it forces people like me to enjoy the lifestyle and live to that means. And also means for people like Dan that maybe is too frivolous with that, to cut that down into this. And this plays into other areas as well. But your main is the most important part of your living. Now, when you start doing this, and this is the first time you do it and you actually work out what you spend, please don't be shocked if 80, 90, 100%, or for a lot of you watching, over 100% of what you earn goes to surviving. If that is you, by the way, you need to either find another way of making money, a part-time job or something, or you need to take a proper look at your expenses, okay? Do you need to be driving the car that you're driving? Do you need to be renting that property that you're renting? Start cutting the crap out that you don't need and bring this percentage down. Okay, so the next one is, and I think this is the most important, is my financial freedom, okay? So financial freedom, or FF. For me, you can do this in whatever order. I'm just telling you my order of importance here, okay? You don't have to do this in the exact same order, but for me, financial freedom is huge, and I allocate a fairly large percentage, which is 20%. A lot of people will start with 10%, and again, you can change these figures as you're going forward. But based on my 10K a month, 2,000 of that is going to go in a financial freedom account. Just so you understand exactly what this is a do not touch it unless it is a complete emergency. It goes into a separate bank account, And I get it, now that the level what I'm at, I get it up to £50,000 in the bank account, and then I invest it. Okay, now when I started, it would be getting to £1,000 and then invest it. Then it was 10,000 invest it. Now it's every 50 grand that goes in. I get it out and I invest it. And I want my money to start working hard for me. So then I can stop working so hard for my money. Now this takes time, it takes patience, it takes a number of years, okay? But I'll do a separate video on this. But if you're 25 right now, if you save just a few hundred a month, you can retire a millionaire at 65. Don't believe me? Wait for the video to come out. Okay, but you should be allocating a percentage. Now, when you're doing this, it might be 10% at the start, and that 10% or even 5% might represent 50 quid a month. That's how I started. Okay, it's how everyone starts, and then it builds up, and you'd be shocked that all growth is like this. It's not linear in anything you do. Okay, what happens is it feels flatline for years, and then it can suddenly explode in growth. Okay, so this will build up over time. The next one is long-term savings. I'm going to put LTS to represent that. Long-term savings, again, what you're probably looking at here is around the 10% mark. So £1,000 of this 10,000. And your long-term savings is essentially anything that is above that costing 3 months. Okay, so for example, if I want to go out for a meal and I need to spend 2 months of money on that, that's not going to go long-term savings. But it's things like saving for a holiday, saving for getting married, saving for a deposit on the house. You get the idea. Maybe a car. Okay, so you're building this up over time, and I'd allocate around 10% of that that you can dip into as and when. Now, this is kind of the things that people don't take account of, and then you want to be prepared for this. And the earlier you start doing this, the better you're going to feel 5 years, 10 years from now. But long-term savings is a really crucial part of your saving element in your pot system in your jars. By the way, you can call your bank and set up multiple accounts within an hour. Okay, just make sure there's no credit on it so it doesn't affect your credit score, things like that. So the next thing linked to long-term savings is your play account. So your play account, again, we're looking at different figures here. But so far we've taken up 85%. You might cut the financial freedom down, you might cut your main down. This is down to you. But play for me is going to represent about 5%, okay? So £500 a month. Now, again, these will fluctuate as you're making more money. But the aim of the play account, again, is perfect for personalities like mine and my business partner, Dan. I really struggle to spend money. The rule around the play account is you have to spend it in the month. Okay, if you get to the last week, you have to spend it on something you're really going to enjoy. You have to spend it on something that you're really going to push for. And yeah, it's good because actually it forces people like me to actually live and enjoy the money that I'm earning in the first place. I have to admit, I'm not the best at doing this. So Dan, on the other hand, not so much now, but definitely in the last sort of 10 years building up, wasn't the best at saving money. He was amazing at spending money. And what this does is it creates a structure where somebody with that sort of spending personality can spend and enjoy the money whilst restricting him or herself doing that in the right way. Okay, so it's really important because ultimately, if you're hustling, you're working hard. If you're watching this channel, you're building yourself up, you're building your wealth up, you're trying to make money, create a better future for yourself, your family, and your loved ones, right? So you need to reward yourself. It's great having deferred gratification, i.e. this time next year, but it's always this time next year. There's always a reason to not spend it. There's always a reason to not go on a holiday. So force yourself to enjoy it now. The next one, and in my opinion, one of the most important, is education. So education, again, I really want to push forward that these percentages are not set in stone. You need to mold them that's right for you. I allocate around 7.5%. I actually increase that now. So 750 per calendar month. And this is for investment in myself. So right now, I'm building up a YouTube channel, right? You're on here. I'm getting loads of support from people, which is fantastic. By the way, if you're watching this and you've not been on this channel before, I would massively appreciate the support by hitting the subscribe button and the like button for the YouTube algorithm. But going back to what's my education investment right now, I'm investing in education around YouTube. I'm not a master of YouTube. I'm learning as I'm going along. Myself and my videographer, Alex, we're having a great time building this up, and we're really excited for the future of the channel. channel. But ultimately, I know the more that I can invest in education, trainings, mentors, getting guidance around people that have done this before me, the faster I'm going to accelerate the subscriber rate, the likes, the engagement, and ultimately learn what makes great content for you guys, my viewers, right? And hopefully build more value. So I am very aware that education is not a cost. It is an investment. And I actually see education right up there with marketing investment and property investments and other investments that I make. It's one of the highest things I consider. And I am pretty obsessed with learning. Like I read all the time and I love immersing myself. So this could start with books, by the way. Now, when your budget's lower, start with the YouTube videos, then maybe a couple of books, CD packs, then maybe do some free trainings, then go on some paid for courses, and ultimately you want to be eventually investing in the best mentors that you can afford at that time to make that investment. But education is a huge part. So right now, if we add that up, let's add it up, 55, 75, 85, 90, 97.5, leaves us 2.5%. Now that can still be quite a substantial amount, and as it builds up, you might fluctuate this, but this is a really big part, and this is giving, okay? So give, we'll call it 2.5%. Mine's a fair amount higher now, but you know, it can fluctuate as you're doing this. 250 a month. So that will add up to that £10,000 that we're looking at up here. And then what will happen as we're moving forward is these will fluctuate. But giving might just seem like oh yeah, you've got to do the right thing. And yes, I do think I have a moral responsibility to give back, whether it's through education or financially, because once you earn a certain amount of money, the extra 10 grand, the 50 grand, the 100 grand, it's not going to make a huge difference to your life, but you could change somebody's entire life with that 250 a month. For example, 250 a month can give 2 kids in the UK a bed and a hygiene pack that's going through poverty right now. Okay, don't tell me that's not changing someone's life. But bigger than that, there's selfish reasons behind it. One, you look good. I'm a big believer of there's no selfless act, by the way, and I'm absolutely okay owning that. If I do something good, I feel good about it. If people know that I did a good thing, I feel even better about it, and people think I'm a good person. Or hopefully I am a good person and they realize that. But you know, you look better. And I am a massive believer in the movement of money. So money is not just an inanimate object. I think it has a lot of energy in it. If you hold a £10 note, a £20 note, think about how many people have held that, how many lives have gone through it. And wealth isn't a stationary aspect of money, it's movement of money, okay? So I believe in abundance, and I do believe how much I make is directly linked to how much I can give away, donate and invest and create that movement of money, and I do believe it will come back to me. So they're the main accounts. Play with them as you want, but you want your main financial freedom, long-term savings, your play account, your education, and your give account, okay? And these numbers here, the percentages, can fluctuate as you're moving forward with that, okay? Once you're earning hundreds of thousands, it might not be realistic to have a 50-55% budget for your main. It might drop down considerably, but this is really gonna get you started. I'd say follow these numbers up until you're earning past $250,000 a year. Now, I know some of you are thinking about earning your first £1,000, and that's great, which is why I like focusing on these percentages rather than the number here. Because if you've got financial freedom at the start, say 10%, and you're only earning, I don't know, £1,000 a month, which is great, by the way, that's only £100, and you're thinking, well, how far is £100 gonna go? Well, not very far. But that 100 will become 200, will become 500, will become 1,000, will become 10, 50, 100, and millions down the line, okay? The best thing that you have with investment is time. So be patient with it. Play around with these percentages for what works for you, but the main one you want to start with is this main, okay? And bringing it down, focus on making some more money and cutting your costs. The addition that I make for this is the buffer. Okay, so I like 2 separate bits for the buffer account. That was terribly written. Hopefully you can see that okay. The buffer account is protection money. So it was actually Steve Jobs that originally did this with Apple, where he wanted to understand how many years Apple as a business could operate with making no money whatsoever, but Steve Jobs wouldn't need to axe anyone's job. They'd be able to pay for all of their commercial leases. They'd be able to do all of their R&D, their research and development, and of course invest into their marketing. And the idea of this was protected money and protecting the business, because so many businesses that are successful and making a load of money end up going bankrupt because they were focusing on the cash and not the cash flow. So Apple actually has around 1,000 years. I'm going to say that again. 1,000 years worth of expenses in their bank account right now. Okay, they are a pretty well-established company. But what I like to do in my personal life is I have something called a 6 and 2. So this is a concept that I end up making up and sort of bringing into this pot system, this jar system, and what you can incorporate to. Now, I'm going to be upfront. It's incredibly frustrating. It really is. Okay, because you're going to have a pot of money sat there that builds up over time. So what this is 6 and 2 month pots. So 6 months worth of money, whatever my expenses are, is going to sit in that account for protection. What this means is if anything goes wrong, COVID, a black swan event hits you and it turns everything to crap, what can I do and how much time do I have to turn that around to start generating more money? So for me, 6 months is a fairly decent timescale for me to pick things back up, and hopefully will be for you too. So for example, if I'm making, let's say I'm spending, £10,000 a month, and I'm breaking it down like this, that means I need £60,000 in a separate account. That is a killer, okay? But actually what most people will do is base it around this number here, your main account. So let's say it's representing £5,000 a month. That's my core expenses of what I'm going through. That means I need £30,000 sat in that 6 month buffer. That might sound crazy, by the way, because then I also have the 2 month, the trading account. So I then have 2 months again in my main account, which is just for spend that goes up and down, but it's to be £10,000, okay? Now, that might sound crazy because I also do this in my businesses. My business has around £50,000 a month expenses, which yes, means about £300,000 sat there and £100,000 sat there. So £400,000 might seem absolutely crazy because you can make that money work for you. But as soon as every single time I've decided to take a chunk of it, something's hit. And I think, oh shit, thank God that I had it, right? And if I didn't have that protection in my personal life or my business, I feel really stressed when things go wrong. And you feel stressed anyway, but it's nice knowing that people are gonna get paid. It's nice knowing that you don't have to stress about those sort of things. So it just protects me. And I'm a big believer in that you can't thrive if you're focused on surviving all the time. Okay, and you can't enjoy yourself and relax and build your businesses as you're going through this if you're focused on starvation and not having enough oxygen. And what this system will do, having your main financial freedom, long-term savings, play account, education, give, and your buffer, is it allows you to manage your money effectively, giving you that oxygen so you can go out there and smash your investment strategy. So guys, I hope you found a lot of value in that video. And if you are interested in seeing more videos around making, managing, and multiplying money, let me know in the comments what you like to get created. And ultimately, this channel is for you, and I want to create the content that's going to help you along your investment path as much as possible. Alongside that, if you've had value out of this, I would love it if you could smash that like button. And of course, remember to hit the subscribe and the notification bell if you want to see more videos like this as they come out. It really does make a difference for me, my ego, and of course the YouTube algorithm. And I'm really excited about sharing this journey with you, and I'll see you in the next video.